Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general tarot reading with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this video resonates with you or any of my others do, please hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. So with that said, this week when I went into my intuition, in fact before we get there, let me bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week when I went into my intuition, really interesting message. What I could see was what looked like a bunch of paper, just a bunch of ordinary sort of whitish pink paper. And as I was looking at it, it started to crumple and fold, and then it started to turn into something. And then by the time it was finished, what I was actually looking at was a rose. And it was just as beautiful. You know, it wasn't green and red. It was all pink because it was all made out of this paper that had been folded, kind of like an origami rose almost. But it was really beautiful. And the message that I got from that was, your skill is defined by your results, right? So whatever it is that you have to use to get so the end result was the rose, right? And it was still just as beautiful. I mean, it obviously didn't have the smell, but it was still just as beautiful. And the result that I was looking at that was beautiful had literally come from somebody's skill of putting that together, of turning it into something. So this week I really want to remind you to really look at your life, to look at whatever it is that you're dealing with, going through, working on, and ask yourself, right, even if you're not necessarily where you want to be at this moment in time, or it hasn't quite come about the way that you would like, what you really need to focus on this week is the fact that your results are going to speak of your skill. I'll give you a really good example. When you see a gymnast, you know, they do all these amazing tricks and tumbles, and you look at it and you think, wow, you know, they make that look so easy. But it really isn't. Same as a ballet dancer, you know, you see them do all of these amazing things like stood on their toes and, you know, flips and splits and all the rest of it. They make it look graceful and effortless. But outside of all of that, it's pure skill. It's pure skill and pure determination that's gone into it. So this week, that is the message. Whatever it is that you are working on, your results are going to demonstrate your skill. What it is that you turn into. When you spin something into gold, it will speak of all of that, right? I'll give you an example. Another example, when somebody says something that's deeply profound and wise and you think, wow, you know, where did that come from? And then you speak to them and you find out that in their history, they've had this long history of like a really difficult life. They've taken that and they've transmuted it. So your skill is defined by your results, right? And that's not to take away anything from the journey, because the journey is really the most important part, right? What you see on stage, what you see on the day, all of that, that's the finished product, that's the result. But the effort, the skill that goes into creating that effortless finish, that is what you're looking at, but it's defined by the results. So when you make something look easy, beautiful, effortless, you know, there's a story behind that. So what is your story? What is it that you are doing? I think as well, part of that message is that you really need to focus this week and home in on the details. Really start to pay attention to everything that you're doing. Be conscious on your journey, whatever it is you're creating, whatever it is that you're writing, whatever it is that you're doing. Pay attention to the journey that you are taking towards that specific result that you want. It's kind of like, you know, nan's food or mum's food, like when you move out you cook for yourself and all the rest of it, but you know, when you go home and you're like, yeah, that's mama's skill, that's nana's skill, and it's because you can literally feel the love that they have for you in the food. I'm a big believer in things like that. It's why when I was younger and I was a young man and I actually did have hair, I wouldn't just let anybody put their hand in my head. You know, if I was going to get my hair plaited and whatnot, it would only be people that I knew and trust, not only just because it's, you know, obviously it's hair and whatnot, but you can feel the intent behind it. And this is really important. So yes, your results are going to define your skill, but really pay attention to all of the moments that are leading up to showtime. Pay attention to all of the moments that are coming up to that moment where you have to shine or where you need to deliver, because your results are going to speak of your skill and your skill speaks of your journey. All right, with that said, let's get into the cards for the week ahead. For our destiny card for this week, we have the Strength card, right? Just so we're out of Leo season at this point, right? We are just out of Leo season at this point. But what is it that we are learning? The Strength card comes forward to always show you and remind you have a lot more strength, a lot more courage than you know, than maybe you give yourself credit for. And as a Destiny card, this is the energy that permeates the entire week. So what we're being asked to do collectively here is to really ask yourself, in your heart of hearts, are you giving it your all? In your heart of hearts, are you paying attention to the greatest part of your strength that comes from here? Are you paying attention to are you paying attention to the real fiber of your being, right? Are you really giving credence to the things that your heart truly wants? This is a week for you to really start to become conscious, but at a heart-based level, not necessarily from here, right? As we step into this Virgo season, and I believe that this is going to be a really good one. I don't know why. Yes, September is going to have its issues and its challenges, but I feel that Virgo season specifically is actually going to be a good one. I've just got a good feeling about it. So, you know, hopefully I'm right with that. Carrying this energy of that heart space consciousness, that heart-based mindset forward is only going to serve us, right? And this isn't always about brute force. Sometimes it's about that gentle strength. You know, there's the strength of a river. When it erodes something over time, it's patient, it will wait forever if it needs to, but eventually it will come out on top, it will win, right? It will reach its goal or its destination. So let's have a look, see how are we using the power of our heart? How are we tapping into that heart space or heart-based consciousness? And let's see what we're doing with it. You know, what is the direction? How do we best utilize that or shape it into something? And this week we get, okay, so we've got two. All right, so we've got the Tower card and we've got the Empress. So I was hoping to avoid this, but when the Strength card came out, I kind of felt it anyway. So that there, the Tower card and the Empress, is literally an earthquake or some kind of nature-based, I don't want to say disaster, but it does feel like some intense natural phenomena that we are going to witness this week. You know, I was really trying to avoid it, and the reason I say that is because the Strength card is places like Italy, I know it's certain parts of Spain, there's a few others as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, the locational energies of the cards is probably one of the things that I need to brush up on. But look at this. Straight away, right, we've got 3 major arcana cards, which tells us that something big this week is taking place for all of us. Now, I see the Empress, although she is Lady Venus and she has very often links to Libra and Taurus, I also see her as a very Virgo type card anyway. So this will be really interesting. But yes, on a wider world stage, I'm not entirely sure where, I can't hone it down exactly, but I do believe we will be seeing some sort of upsetting or, you know, maybe nature is upset when she's got every right to be, right? Let's be honest. Yeah, maybe this is, I would say that this is some earth-based phenomena that we're going to experience as a collective, that we're going to see. It could be volcanoes, eruptions. It could be, I mean, I don't know. Just given the fact of what came up last week, I still feel like we're waiting for something big to happen with the water. I don't know why I get this sense that we're going to have either another tsunami or something, you know, of that nature will be coming up. But yeah, definitely we could be looking at volcanoes, we could be looking at eruptions. Earthquakes is a big one for this combination of cards, because remember, the Tower is sudden, it's shocking, it's movable, it's excitable, and then the Empress, she is literally the domain of the earth, right, on a practical level. Now, to bring this down to the macrocosm, right, so how does this work for us on the ground? So how are we tapping into this heart-spaced energy? Well, the Tower suggests that there's going to be some deep emotional insight that's coming through. There's going to be a moment this week that absolutely wakes you up, that absolutely kind of switches your focus or determination in some respect. Now, because it's coupled with the Empress, there's a couple of things here that come up. One, it could be that a conversation that you have with a woman, you know, whoever you are that's watching this, it could be through women, through mothers, through aunts, sisters, you know, any of the taglines that we use for our life givers, let's call them. You know, I call women the life givers. That's their greatest power, right? This could be a woman brings you some sort of insight or some sort of communication. This could be somebody that brings us something by surprise, that offers an opportunity that comes completely out of the blue, that just absolutely bowls you over and you're like scrambling because you don't really know what to do with it. You know, sometimes the tower isn't always doom and gloom. Sometimes it brings you something really exciting, and coupled with the Empress, she's Lady Venus, right? So this is blessings, it's abundance. It could be surprise moments that really get you ahead. For a lot of us, I think this is going to be a deep emotional insight that comes from maybe a conversation with a woman or something that we see out in the wider world. And I don't know why, but I'm getting this sense of mercy. The word mercy keeps coming. I'm begging you for mercy. Sorry, I love that song. But yeah, that comes up as well. So it's going to be really interesting, you know, to see how this plays out for everybody. Now let's have a look at the insight card. What is coming up or, you know, going on behind the scenes that we might not be aware of, but will be eventually. Let's have a look, see. And this week we get the Two of Swords, right? So it could be, for some people, this could be on a ground level, you know, for every day, for all of us on some level. This could be knowledge and information that you learn about some sort of a partnership. It could be that you understand, or you start to understand, why somebody is diametrically opposed to you. You could be getting an insight this week, you know, all of us could be getting an insight from somewhere of why somebody maybe doesn't like you, or why maybe somebody rubs you up the wrong way. This could definitely be a week where you discover a secret crush on somebody that really gets on your nerves. On the other part of this, remember the Two of Swords is always about your intuition and trusting that innate intuitive ability. So this, you know, and as an insight card, right, this kind of suggests that whatever is taking place this week, you really want to pay attention to, because you're going to be feeling the ripples of it for the next 2 months. So this is a week to really pay attention to what comes up, what conversations you're having, you know, what is started this week. Really important to pay attention to. I think as well, on a personal level, I get that whether it's diet or exercise or a combination of the two, this is going to be a week where we see a lot of people jumping into this energy, you know, where it's like you're making that final decision, you're making that choice. It's like you get that visceral push. There's something within you, and you know, I say this, and please don't take this the wrong way, because sometimes, you know, when I say things, I realize how they might sound. So I always try to make people aware that it's never me bashing or, you know, judging or anything like that. But one of the things that I said about this year was that the people that did well, the people that came up, you would know them, because those would be the people that are coming up this year are the ones that have previously done the work. The people that are going to get this intuitive, visceral push from inside to work out harder than ever before, to fix your diet, to get your sleeping pattern, to really start to home in on making your physical vessel as strong and as powerful and as resilient as possible. Those are the people that are either awakened or starting their awakening process. Pay attention to this, because it's going to be really important for you in the days ahead. And like I said, whatever we're starting this week or focusing on at this moment in time, we're going to be feeling the ripples for the next 2 months. So with that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how this shapes up. I'm really intrigued, especially because of the double message that came through there. Take care, and I'll see you soon.